Hello. My name is Aniruddha and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. I've been away for a while working on a few other projects. Keeping up with the theme of markets, I've been doing a lot of markets in the recent month. More on that later. Today's sketch will also be a vibrant market scene. In past videos, I've noticed that a lot of you prefer watching the watercolor part directly. Not too many of you enjoy watching me draw. This time, I insist that you be patient and observe what I'm doing because the process I'm using is rather unique. I'm putting down some initial strokes using a cool gray 1 alcohol marker, and I will follow this up by using my Fude nib fountain pen. So when I sketch with pencil, what has been happening recently is that some of my line work has been rather tentative. Tentative because I know that I can come and use my eraser to fix any errors I make. The ability to do that also slows me down quite a bit. With this alcohol marker, I don't have the ability to erase mistakes. But the thing is, the mistakes are light because I'm using a very light valued marker. So I can simply put the correct stroke next to the wrong one. And I also have the added safety net of the darker waterproof ink, which I'm putting on right now. My feeling is that this makes my line work look a lot bolder. Do let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. The Fude nib pen is actually designed for calligraphy, but a lot of urban sketchers use it. The reason they use it is because you can get a variety of different line weights with just one pen. You just need to change the angle that the tip touches the paper. A video about this pen is actually one of the most popular videos on this channel. A link to it will be in the top right hand corner about now. This pen isn't the easiest to control. There is a rather steep learning curve to it. But sometimes I feel that that lack of control somehow adds to the charm of the strokes. My preferred method when using this pen is to keep my strokes short but confident. As I move from front to back in my sketch, at the back I would prefer having thinner strokes. To put in those thinner strokes, I can either use my Fude pen or, as I'm doing right now, I can use my zero point 0.2 fine liner pen. So, onto the watercolor. I'm planning to paint this sketch in roughly two parts, the back and the front. The reason I've decided to divide it up in that way is that so that I can have two smaller self contained parts within which I can work wet and wet, or more like wet and damp. Working in these relatively smaller areas makes decision making easier, makes timing a little easier, which in turn means that I can have more fun with some of those wet and damp blurry effects. Painting a scene with so much color, I mean, all market scenes are always colorful, requires one to be a fast painter. Now, I am by no stretch of the imagination a fast painter. This video is fairly sped up. I'm hoping that having painted so many markets, having sketched so many markets, that my speed has also improved along the way. Earlier this week, I released a new class on my Skillshare page. The subject of this class is how to paint vibrant marketplaces. In this class, we first look at the basic elements, or what I consider the basic elements of a vibrant market scene. Those elements are light, color, and people. After we get comfortable with these three, we learn how to bring these three elements together in a lovely combined unified sketch. So if you are enjoying this sketch, I would love to have you over on Skillshare as one of my students. For a limited time, I am offering this class free of charge. To access it, all you need to do is find and click the link in the description. Moving my attention back to this sketch, I quite often like going from bigger shapes, bigger surfaces to smaller surfaces. Now that I'm done with the bigger surfaces at the back, I will be working on smaller and smaller surfaces as I move forward in my sketch. When working wet and wet, paint consistency also becomes very important. So this layer which I'm putting down now is at a coffee consistency. When I come back and apply darker paint there, it will be a lot thicker. It will be full fat milk, almost cream consistency. Controlling the consistency means that I can control how much the paint moves once I put it down on paper. Just a few more finishing touches in this back area, and then I will move on to the front. I'm purposely trying to maintain bright attires on all the three vegetable vendors. Those bright attires are a hallmark here in South Asia. Don't be afraid to let the different colors touch each other. They're not going to merge into a blob. Even if they do, it's relatively fine because you already have those dark pen lines separating individual objects. It's this flow of one color into another which actually gives watercolor its charm. So don't hesitate here. When it comes to those leafy green vegetables, I don't want them to be a flat green mass. I want there to be a couple of different greens within that area. Also, notice how I go forward and backward to different areas and surfaces depending on when they are at the right level of dampness. Now I turn my attention to that last remaining figure. Since this lady is the closest to the viewer, she will need the maximum level of detail. To create this sense of detail, to create a sense of depth, what is of maximum importance, even more than the color, is the values. Within any area, I can not only add pigment and thus add value, I can also use my brush to lift some of the pigment and thus reduce value. The value of that front area needs to be nice and dark. This is to further emphasize the illusion that that area is close to the viewer, thus also enhancing the sense of depth. This scene is almost done. All that is left is that one last bundle of leafy greens. So, I thank you for joining me here today. I hope you learned something new. Please do remember to do all the YouTube things like, subscribe, share it to any of your friends who might be interested. I will see you in the next one.